Hi, this is Max. Today I'm going to want to show you a little bit of the containers that I use for starting seeds and that you can use too. This is my favorite one, my top brand. I start with the standard nursery tray like this. Now I like to use these larger 6-celled plastic trays to plant the seeds in. It comes in sheets like this. It fits right in there. So you can use it as a whole sheet, or if you want, these break apart fairly easy. So you can just break these apart and use these as individual 6-cell trays to plant things in. That's how I do it. I break them apart and then it's easier to pick up the 6-cell package at a time. So here's another. Similar to those ideas, these types of trays are available. Now these also use the standard bottom nursery tray, but they're coming in little pre-made sizes like this. Those just fit right in there, and you can use these. I've got a large one here, I've got a medium-sized one, and then you can see here's a smaller size. Now I use these, but I've kind of gravitated more towards the larger cells. These smaller cells for me are hard to use, so I don't use these trays as much. But these are good if you like to use these. These are good also for starting seeds. Hey, this is another little thing that's worked out really well for me. These are, just used toilet paper cores on here. So you can take these, you can fit them inside a container like this, whatever size you have. And these work really handy for things like leeks. You get a leek plant started and growing, and remember, the leek, you want a big, nice, long section of that leek underground, about 1 foot long, so that it's a nice white stalk. So you get a leek plant started. Once it has grown enough in the pot you originally started it growing in, then you can take that individual leek, you can just hold it, put it down in there, put some dirt around this, and you've now got about 4 or so inches of a root already turning white. So when you finally plant this outside, transplant it outside, you can slide the leek out. Hopefully it's grown about another 8 or more inches above this, that you can just put almost 12 inches in the ground right off the bat. Now I do stuff on a larger scale, so that's why I showed you those first pots that I do, and I buy those by the box full. So I may buy 100 of those trays at a time and 600 of the 6-cell things, whatever comes in a big box. But if you don't spend the money unless you need to. For me, I do it as a matter of convenience because I'm planting so much that it's just convenient for me. But if you're just planting your own garden on a smaller scale, you can use almost anything. I save these different pots where I bought plants at the store, so I save these pots on here. They got big, small, whatever size you want. If some of you can recognize this, my favorite drink is Pepsi. But I can take a bottle of Pepsi, the larger bottles, remember, not the smaller ones. I can take that and I can make little cups, little sections like this out of it, or I can make longer sections for planting where I want to plant with some deep roots in it. Or I can use just the bottom part of it like this. And so there is lots of different types of soda pop and containers that you're getting liquids in that you can probably use as a growing container without having to buy stuff. This is another thing. This is a Maverick cup. We happen to have a lot of Mavericks around here in Idaho, but whatever gas station store you have that serves large drinks, you get these plastic cups in, and these are excellent for like tomatoes or a deep-rooted plant. I take and I drill a little hole in the bottom so the water can drill out, so the roots don't get waterlogged. But this works really well. Tomatoes, this doesn't hold very much dirt. This holds a lot of dirt. So if you don't want to buy as much dirt, this Maverick cup or these plastic cups are the way to go instead of plant it in a bigger pot like that. This is another container I have used fairly often. Sometimes I'll put my vine plants in here in a lot. This is just a cran grape plant. This is about a half-gallon bottle of this, but I'll use these plastic containers. I'll cut the top off, and then they just fit right in here. It's just almost made perfect to fit inside there. So I'll put my vine plants in here because I can put 2 or 3 seeds in there, and then I've got a big area for those roots to grow, and until I get ready to transplant those vines outside. Okay, these are some other containers that I like to use. Originally I start the seeds in a 6-cell planter like this. As the plants start to get too big for this container, I like to plant them in these types of a pot. Now, these are 2-inch pots that are, I don't know, a little over 3 inches deep. So if I have some small stuff, I have an example of that right here. In those standard trays, you can fit 32 of these in here. So this is red vein swirl. So as it got a little bit too big for I'll show you this right here, but as it gets a little bit too big for this 6-celled unit where I plant it, then I come in and I separate those and I plant them in these 2-inch pots, and this will hold 32 of those plants at once. Now the next type of plant that I have, next type of container is these two. Now these are 3-inch pots. Now this one's a little bit shorter. It's not quite 3 inches deep. This one, as you can see, is at least 3 inches deep, maybe a little bit better. I like the deeper plants. I keep using these because I bought a box of them, but I like these. You usually buy them, they come about 500, 600 in a box when I buy them, but these are deeper. You get better roots growth in there. You can leave the plants in them longer. Now here's an example of this. Now this example that I'm using is the shorter pot, but these are onions. But see, you can put that inside of here. These don't fit quite as many because they're 3 inches, so you can go 3 wide and 6 deep, so you can only do 18 of these cells versus 32 here. But I'm not trying to individualize these onion plants. I'm just trying to get them to grow and bulb, and then I'll transplant them outside when the weather gets a little bit warmer. Okay, lastly I want to show you these 2 plants. As I'm transplanting things from the smaller cells to the larger cells, these are typically the biggest pots I will use before I transplant them outside in the high tunnel or the garden area. This container, these are 6-inch containers. This one, Walmart used to sell these for about $1 each. I don't know where you pick these up anymore, but the nice thing about these is these have a bottom tray on it to contain the water. This one is also a 6-inch pot, but these have holes in the bottom. Okay, well thank you for watching my channel, and please subscribe.